thank you for all the support on the last podcast. We did very well, so we're very glad to be back. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of the youngsters of the Premier League this season. We're going to do a team of the season so far, and we're also going to be doing the preview for the next upcoming Premier League matches. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
So we are going to get underway with the tier list of the youngsters, and I say we just doesn't really matter. Just start from here. Nico Williams. So we've got generational, elite, good, average, and retire early. Any thoughts about Nico?
I think right off the bat, I think he's a decent little prospect, obviously an international player, but I think he's not going to get into the Liverpool team because we have another player who's slightly better than him. So I'd put him in average, to be honest. I don't think he's that bad. But I'd put him in average.
Yeah, I was thinking he's like your average youngster. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
He's all right.
The everyday academy lad.
Yeah. Lewis, you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
So we've got Eze, moved from QPR up to the Premier League last season. Good at the start.
I'd say good. I mean, he got that bad injury last season. I don't think he's elite or generational, but he's definitely not average, and he was really good last season. So yeah, I'd say good.
Yeah, I think that injury obviously hindered him, but we'll see now. Another player that I don't know, he's not on this list, but I think deserves a mention is Elise. What he's been doing so far for Crystal Palace, and as his his time being injured, I think that deserves a shout out. But obviously he's not on the list, so we won't focus on him. Yeah, I'd put him in good.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, we all agree. Next, we've got Burnley's McNeil. Any opinion?
Probably good. I'll put him in good too.
I don't know. I think he's average. I think he has good spells, but he doesn't provide a lot. I think Cornet came in and outscored him in like the first 2 weeks. So yeah, I wouldn't say he's good. I wouldn't say he's on Eze's level. I don't think he'll ever make it into the England team, so I'd say average.
I think if we're putting him in average, maybe top of average, but if you put him in good, bottom of good, so I don't mind either way. I'm sure we'll put him in average.
What would you say, Philippe?
So I agree with average. Between these two, I would say just because of the fact that he's obviously playing a much better team, I'd do it like this.
Yeah.
But wait, are we okay? Now Ferran Torres has left to Barcelona. Should we include him? Or?
I'd still include him.
Yeah, I'd yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, not generational.
I'd say he's elite.
Elite.
I'd say he's elite, but I don't think he'll be at the top of elite. I think he'll be in the middle/lower end of elite. But yeah, I'll put him elite.
He was one of the most underrated players for me last season. I don't think he gets enough mentions, and I was very surprised when City sold him.
A very good transfer by Barcelona.
Yeah, expensive, but.
Right, Tariq Lamptey, Brighton's right back. What do we think?
This one's hard, because you don't really, because he's been playing the more of a right wing back role. He's been injured a lot as well. I'm torn between bottom of elite and top of good, but
yeah, I agree. I'm torn between bottom of elite.
I think I'm going to put him at top of good instead of bottom of the league. I don't think he's shown it as much.
Lewis, what do you think?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I think top of good's where he's at. Chelsea Academy, he's a great player, but he's just got injury problems, so I don't think he can warrant an elite spot yet, but definitely in the future.
Right, cool. Kai Havertz, a lot of money, but I'll prove to
Champions League winner. So, for me, he's either the very top of elite or the bottom of generational. For me, he's top of elite. I wouldn't put him in generational just yet.
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree.
I'm really top of elite.
I think if you talk about the Leverkusen Havertz, I think he might be in generational, but I don't think he's shown as much as he should have in Chelsea. But obviously, it's still time to improve, and I think he still has the possibilities to be elite.
I think the first half of the season wasn't great. The second half season I think was amazing, and first half, he's been really good as well, which is I also agree with the league, top of the league. All right, next, Curtis Jones for Liverpool. What do you think? Abdullah, what's yours?
The thing is, I haven't seen as much of him as I thought I would have seen by now. I think he's looked good when he's come on. Last couple of games he hasn't been playing. He had a bit of an injury, but as of right now, I don't think he's on Ferran Torres or Havertz levels. I'd put him at top of good. I think he's better than Tariq Lamptey as of yet, but yeah, I'd put him about there.
Lewis, do you agree?
No, I'd have to disagree on that one. I don't think he's anywhere near Tariq Lamptey or Eze. I think these two are much better than him. I'd put him top of average or very bottom of good.
Okay. I think when I have watched him, so I haven't watched him much. Like as I said, he had injury problems and he hasn't started as much as we would before. But I think top of good. I'm going to be honest, is a stretch. But I think he doesn't. I think he's better than these two by a bit. So I'm going to say bottom of good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Phil Foden.
I'd put him in elite. Generational, sorry. Generational.
Lewis, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's generational, but I don't think he's top of generational.
I don't think he's top of generational either.
That's fair. Yeah, we all agree on generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Bukayo Saka. Because the Euro's been pretty good.
Yeah. I'd put him in elite just above Ferran Torres, just above Ferran Torres, below Havertz for me. I think he's carrying the Arsenal team, and I think he's been people saying Smith Rowe is outshine him, but I still think he's crucial what he's done for Arsenal, and yeah, I think he has a really good future. I think he's slightly better than those two because he's what's the team and performing a bit better, but yeah.
Yes, what do you think?
Yeah, I highly rate him, but I think there's a lot of English bias on his name. I think if Ferran Torres was English, he'd get so much more praise. And also because, like playing for Arsenal, there's a massive fan base for Arsenal, whereas Man City, there's not as big as social media fan base. So I think he's maybe overhyped by the fans. But I would agree. I think he is better than Ferran Torres. I'm just saying that maybe there's a bit more of an agenda against Ferran Torres. But yeah, that's a sacrifice.
Alright.
Felipe?
I'm going to be honest, I would have said here, but if you both agree with that, that's fine. Now I've got Reece James.
Yeah, I'd say he's bottom of generational.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him there. I don't think he's generational. I think he's elite. I wouldn't put him in generational too.
Why would you say in elite?
Top of elite. I put him top of elite. I think he's good, but I don't think he's generational. I don't think he's had a season and a bit showing it so far. I don't think that's enough to show that he's generational. So yeah, I don't think he's just. Maybe if he shows it for till the end of the season, he continues it, then he could be. But I think as of right now, I don't think he's generational. I don't think he's at the same level as Foden or other players that we're going to put at generational.
Lewis, what's your counter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get that. I said he's bottom generational because I also agree. I don't think he's as good as Foden, but to have the season that he's had and to compare him to Bukayo Saka and Ferran Torres, I don't think that's fair. I think the 1.5 season thing is probably not right. I mean, he was Wigan's player of the season when he was 18, and that's a very experienced championship team. He came into Frank Lampard's team. Frank Lampard with not a lot of tactics and got over one of the best right backs in the world, and Spain's right back, Cesar Azpilicueta. So I think that's really difficult, and he plays many different roles: CDM, centre back, right wing back. So he's had to adjust to so many different times, and he can do everything: pass, shoot, tackle. He's got strength. We saw that in the Champions League final. I mean, Sterling didn't get a run, and he's one of the fastest players in the world. So for me, he's finished.
I agree with bottom of generational this season. 16 games, 9 goal contributions, which for a right back is ridiculous. I think he's arguably, for England's right backs, got the best mix of attacking and defending. You could say maybe not as good as Trent going forward, but I think he's a lot better defensively, and also with Walker, he's a lot better going forward. but maybe not as strong defensively. So I think he's a perfect mix, a really good player to have, and which is why I agree with bottom of generation.
Next up, Pedro Neto. He's had his injury problems too, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he's still not back, is he? I don't think he's still.
No, not yet.
For me, I'd put him in good, but below Lamptey, above Eze, just about.
You're saying above Eze?
Just right about there, just because of what he did. He did alright before. Actually, now I think below Eze. Yeah, there. Yeah, I think there. I think he did alright, but I don't think he showed as much as Eze. So yeah, I'm putting there.
Yeah, just clarify. You think he's better than Jones? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's better than Jones.
Yeah, Lewis, do you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree below Eze. I think he's a camera player. I think he does all the skills right, but he hasn't got the final third finisher yet. I don't think he's got that finishing or passing. I think it's the same with the Diamond Traore. I think Wolves lack that on the wings. So yeah, I'd say he's under Eze, but better than Curtis Jones.
Cool. Alright, now we've got Greenwood, which could be
tricky.
It is tricky. So the debate that's sparked recently, well, over the last year, was Greenwood or Saka.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is better?
Saka's better than Greenwood, man. Saka's better than Greenwood. There's some Man United fans saying that Greenwood's generational. I'm sorry to say, but Greenwood's not generational. And he had the potential to be it, but under this current regime and his progress, this could be controversial, but I don't think Greenwood's progressed as a player for the last couple of years. I think he's still the same player that he was 3 years ago. I don't think his game has progressed much. His passing, obviously his shooting's incredible. He's one of the best finishers in the league, but I don't think, except from that, his game IQ, his passing, his selfishness, I think is still the same as he was 1-2 seasons ago. So I'd put him bottom of the league.
I'm not sure. I'm torn between just below Saka or just below Ferran. I mean, I think he's been unlucky with his managers recently, and also the club he's in is not the best run. I think maybe if he was in an Arsenal or Man City, then we wouldn't be having this debate and be saying he's top of the league maybe. But yeah, I think I'd agree. I think I'd go under Ferran Torres. But I think there's a higher ceiling for Greenwood than there is for Ferran Torres. I think if Greenwood reaches his full potential, he's generation. Believe me.
Yeah, I agree with below. Because for me, in my opinion, I think Saka is better.
By the way, just before you continue, just to clarify for some Man United fans, I'm not saying that Greenwood doesn't have the potential to be at the level of Saka and Foden, because I know Manchester United fans will get onto me, but I think he hasn't improved as much as he should have so far in these last couple of years. So just to clarify.
Alright, Martinelli. Maybe like last 5 games have been good, but before not amazing.
I'm putting him in the bottom of good, to be honest.
Bottom of good?
Actually, yeah, bottom of good. I don't think his last couple of games have been alright, but I don't think if you're judging him with the last couple of games, then I don't think you can go above Curtis Jones, to be honest.
Liz, what do you think?
I think Martinelli's a great player. I actually really rate Martinelli. I think to get into that Arsenal team over Aubameyang. I know Aubameyang's had his disciplinary issues, but Martinelli still showed that he can start there and perform well in an Arsenal team. And I think I'd have him over Curtis Jones for me. I don't think Curtis Jones is as good as Martinelli. And I think Martinelli's younger. I'm not sure actually, but I think there's still a lot more of improvement. So yeah, I'd have him over.
Abdullah, do you have any counter?
Well, I don't know. I just think that Curtis Jones, if he was given the chance, we're gonna come on to this later, but the Arsenal game when he came on, he was a bit of a fresh air compared to other midfielders. I think he offers something that some other midfielders don't, and I think he could have a real stake in our team in the future. But I don't think I've seen as much of him as I think I should have. But I'd still put him above Martinelli because Martinelli's he's only been on the scene for a couple of months. I don't think you can put someone above someone who's been doing it for almost a season now, just based off 10 games or whatsoever. So yeah, that's my argument.
Alright, I just clarified. Martinelli is 6 months younger. They're both born in 2001, both 20 years old.
Okay. Felipe, where would you put him?
This is a tricky one because, like Lewis said, I agree with most of what he said. I think he's an amazing player, great talent. But on the other hand, I also agree with what you said, Abdullah, that Jones has been doing it for a bit longer, which is why I think I would keep it like this. Just on the fact that the longevity of Jones has been longer than Martinelli.
Okay.
Right, Harvey Elliott.
Okay. See, this is a hard one because if he didn't get injured in that Leeds game, if he didn't get that injury, I think he could genuinely be like on the level that, for example, Conor Gallagher is performing at this season. I think he had that potential. He was like, I remember when he started against Chelsea. I think I texted in the group chat saying, "What is this? Like, we're starting a 18-year-old against Chelsea, and like you never know how he's going to perform." But he put in a good shift that day, and I think the trust that Klopp's putting in him, I think that's for a reason, and just because of that, I think I'm gonna. But I'm arguing between elite and good. But
elite.
Yeah.
Do you think if he didn't get injured, where do you think he would be?
If he didn't get injured, I genuinely think he'd be in elite. Right there, I think he'd be at the end of the league, behind Greenwood just about. But I think he'd be there if he wasn't injured. But just because of the injury, I'm gonna put him in good. Behind Lamptey, yeah, there. I'll put him there.
Yeah,
no, behind Lamptey, sorry. So Lamptey tops still.
Lewis, what do you think?
I completely disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think Harvey Elliott's anywhere near Eze, Neto, or Martinelli. I think he's on a. I mean, he was great at Blackburn last year, and they had a good season with Armstrong as well. But I just don't think. I mean, elite's way too far to put him in right now. I mean, he's nowhere near Greenwood, Havertz, Saka, Ferran. For me, I think at a push from what we've seen right now, bottom of good, top of the average, but I'm not sure.
Alright, yeah, I mostly agree with Lewis as well. I don't think he's on Lamptey and Eze's level, if I'm honest. The argument that you had with Martinelli was that he hasn't done it for long. I think it can be seen with Harvey Elliott as well. I know when he started, I don't know how many games it was before he got injured, let's say 6, 7, something around that. He was good, but same argument with Martinelli, it wasn't that long, which is I would put bottom of good or top of average, I think.
I wouldn't be right. I wouldn't be right having him in the same category as Nico Williams, so I think good.
I'd go with bottom of good. Pulisic.
For me, he's top of good. I think he's better than Lamptey. I think he's better than Eze, but I don't think he's at Greenwood or Ferran's level yet. I think at Dortmund he was brilliant. He was so young as well, but I think maybe the move was a bit premature. He could have come maybe a year later, maybe got a bit more finishing at Dortmund, he would have been a lot better. But I think there's still a lot of time for improvement. When we saw against Liverpool, he was brilliant. I mean, Trent and Canate couldn't deal with him. He was too quick. He scored that brilliant goal. And if he can keep doing that week in, week out, then there's no reason why he can't get into that elite. But for now, I'd have him top of good.
Top of good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think quite yet on these 4 levels, but I think he was better than he.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too sure who he is. Who did you say it was up there?
I forgot his name.
Connolly, isn't it?
No,
I thought it was Connolly as well.
I don't think it is Connolly.
No, it's not McAllister, it's Connolly.
Yeah, it's not McAllister.
It's Aaron Connolly.
It's give me a second.
Yeah, it's Connolly. Okay.
Yeah. For me, I don't.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I remember that.
it's not Connolly. It's not Connolly.
Oh.
It's Peter Guarges. Peter Guarges.
Oh,
Apparently.
centre mid.
Yeah, apparently.
Is he Hungarian?
He is. He's Swedish.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think he's just been included in the
Let's
list.
just pretend he's Connolly.
Okay, it's Connolly.
It looks like Connolly. I'm not gonna lie.
It does.
I mean, I've just looked up the shirt number. It says someone else, but we'll just say it's Connolly. Connolly, good, maybe
No, I don't think Connolly.
average.
Bottom of average.
Bottom. You think he's worse than Nico Williams?
Yes.
He had a good game against Tottenham that one. 2 goals. And then he just sacked off.
Okay, fair play.
Alright, Gilmore now at loan on. Lewis, what do you think?
I'd have him in good behind Neto. I think he's better than Curtis Jones. He had a good Euros, man of the match against England in the Euros as well in that 0-0 game, which I think Scotland's midfield was a big part of that game. I said at half time I think Billy Gilmore's man of the match, and then he got man of the match at the end of the game. We saw the game against Liverpool in the EFL.
Yeah.
For me, he is good. I think this Norwich spell has hindered him a bit because the Norwich fans, I'm not sure what they're on. I think Billy Gilmore's bigger than Norwich. I don't know why they're being rude to Billy Gilmore. He's 20 years old, and he's still got a massive career ahead of him. And I know Thomas Tuchel wants to implement him in the future. And if you're having a manager like that wants to implement you, I think he's brilliant. To go over Curtis Jones, it's a difficult one. I think they've been around for the same amount of time. But I think the fact that Gilmore's played at an international level as so young, I just have to have him over.
Do you think he's above or below Jones?
I think he's below Jones. I don't think he's above.
Where would you put him? Would you put him?
Oh, just below Jones. I don't think he's that bad, but I think Jones is. I think he has a higher stake in his team, and Lewis to the point about international team, and I'm pretty sure if Jones is playing for Scotland, I think he'd get in that team too. I think obviously it's a bit of a weaker team. There's no way Jones is getting into the England team with the talent they've got. So yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons why he is in that international stage. But I think obviously he's gone on loan to Norwich. It's not really working out. He hasn't been able to really stake his claim over the Norwich team. Yeah, I think he has potential, but as of now, I'd put him below Jones.
So you do agree that he is better than Martinelli?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my opinion, it's a tough one again. Like same with these two, it was tough. I agree that he's definitely above Martinelli and Elliott because, like Liz said, he has been around for quite some time. Yeah, it's a tricky one. For the international game against England, I'm gonna go above, but just above. I think because like Liv said, at halftime I remember that message saying he was gonna be man of the match. In that game, he was phenomenal against, like you said, other talented players.
Yeah.
And Scotland held on to a draw, which I guess for them is good. Which is why I'm just going Gilmore.
Okay.
But I think Jones is quite good. Rashford next. He's a bit older now, but we'll include him.
Oh man, Rashford's a weird one because he was so good at the start of his career, and he's just had a massive drop down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it wasn't for that, it'd be generational. But for me, he's elite under Havertz. I still think he's a quality player. I still think he has it in him, but I think he's just going through a rough patch. Of course, he had a surgery. He was fighting injuries for the last 2 years, but we can't forget, Rashford was the only one carrying them before Fernandes, and of course Ronaldo recently. So yeah, I still think he's great, and I'd have him under Havertz, but above Saka.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. He's on that level.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think he's just about there. I think it's pretty close between him and Havertz. I think it's either or. But yeah, you can't forget the way he carried Manchester United. And I think I saw a stat that I think he's fourth or fifth for the most appearances by the age of 24, and I think that's took a bit of a toll on him, and he's having a bit of an off season for once. But I think you can't blame it on him. He's been phenomenal for the last couple of years. He's been carrying Manchester United on his back, and he's had a couple of surgeries, and off the pitch as well. What he's been doing is incredible. But I think that's slightly taking a toll on him. But I think he'll be back for sure. But I think, yeah, I think that's fair enough to put him there.
Yeah, you can't forget the start is correct.
Yeah.
Alright, next, Brendan Williams.
I think it's our first retiree.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Okay, mutual agreement
there. He hasn't even started for Norwich much, has he?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just not great. Declan Rice has been fantastic the last 2 years. What are you thinking?
I'd put him elite, top of elite. Top of elite, yeah. I think he's a massive part of West Ham's success in the last couple of years. But I think he is slightly overhyped by the English media. Just same as Lewis was saying about Saka. I think he's a bit overhyped as well. But I'd still put him in elite. Felipe? Lewis?
No, I don't agree with top of elite. I don't think he's anywhere near Havertz or Rashford. I think he's better than Saka, but I don't think he's better than Rashford or Havertz.
Yeah, I was going to say I think he's here.
But there still is credit. I mean, getting over Henderson, captaining West Ham is big. I think he has to get a big money move now to City, Liverpool, or Chelsea, to really give him a big status. You don't want him being like a Harry Kane and trying to be a club hero but not winning anything. I think he has to go. But they're asking 100 million, which...
Talking about big money move, I think 100 million was last summer. I think I saw a quote from David Moyes saying he'd be at least 200 million now, which I think that is a bit English inflation. I think we do Willock first. Willock.
Do Joe Willock.
Yeah. Willock. 7 goals.
Yeah, he's done nothing since. 30
million.
I'd put him below McNeil.
Below?
Yeah.
I would have said top.
He's above McNeil.
Yeah, I think I was going to say top as well. Yeah, I don't think he's here. I think he's happy. He had a good spell last year, but 30 million move and done. Yeah, so we have one. Alright, now Mount and Trent.
Let's do Trent, the right back. We'll do the right back.
For me, he's going second in generational. I think. Let me just. I think out of this list, I think he's the most likely to be the best in his position in the world, and I think he already is the best in the position in his world, and I think he could challenge to be the best English right back ever, potentially, because there's not many good ones. And I think he could go even beyond that and become one of the best right backs to ever grace the sport. I genuinely think he has that much potential, and achieving so much by the age of 23. I think the sky's the limit, to be honest. And obviously, defensively, he needs a bit of improvement, but that'll come with time. And yeah, I genuinely think he's generational.
Lewis?
For me, he's way over Foden. I think from where Trent's come, 18, very young, got into that Liverpool team, Jurgen Klopp, obviously. Jurgen Klopp's not going to pick someone for no reason. I think Trent's... I think Foden has just been nurtured. Obviously Trent has as well, but Foden's been nurtured by better players. Kevin De Bruyne, Aguero. And he's got a lot of his assists and goals because of these players. And I think Trent, as a right back, he's had to sort of make his own traits, his own crossing ability, which has got him so many assists. Whereas Foden sort of it's not completely been put on a plate for him, but you know it's more than Trent.
Yeah.
And I think where Trent is now, Champions League winner, Premier League winner, he's going to win so much more in his career. Already getting some minutes in England. Obviously Foden and James are as well, but Trent, I think he's above that. I think he's twice. He's been in the Ballon d'Or rankings, high Ballon d'Or rankings. So yeah, for me, he's top of generation. I'm surprised that others didn't put him.
To be honest, I don't know. I actually don't know what over me. If this was any other day, I would have put him over Foden. But I actually Lewis persuaded me to put him over Foden. I don't know why I didn't put him over Foden in the first place. But one thing I really rate on Trent on is every time he gets scrutinised, he comes back stronger and stronger. Like I remember when he didn't get into the England squad, and then he went on a mad run after that. He got like an assist every single game after that, which was just incredible to see from such a young player that his mindset is so developed already. But yeah, I think Lewis made me change my mind to put him top. But yeah, I'd put him top.
Right, yeah, cool. I agree. Mount. Where in general do I think?
This is a hard one. Felipe, you know what? You've always gone. I think we take your view first in this one. What would you say?
I would say I'd say above Foden because I think he's done it for longer than Foden. I know he's 1 year older, but still he has done it for longer. He's been more consistent and he's more of an all-round player, which I think is right. Above Foden, but below.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Mount can play right wing, centre mid, in the centre mid he'd have to be partnered with Kante because he doesn't have those defensive attributes, but he can play there to play deep balls. We saw against Real Madrid how good he was. He scored the goal against Porto as well, and in the Champions League final, of course, getting that brilliant assist. Foden, it's so close. It's so close between them. It's a great battle to talk about because they're two great teams, two great players. Sorry, and you know it's good for England to have these two young players that are coming through their great team so early. But yeah, for me it's Mount just over Foden.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that wraps up our Premier League youngsters, and yeah, let us know if you guys agree with a lot of these.
Call out for the audio listeners.
Oh yeah, let me just go through it. So first, generational, we have Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mason Mount, Phil Foden, and Reece James. In elite, we have Havertz, Rashford, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Ferran Torres, Mason Greenwood, and then in the good category, we have Christian Pulisic, Tariq Lamptey, Eberechi Eze, Pedro Neto, Billy Gilmore, Curtis Jones, Gabriel Martinelli, Harvey Elliott. And then in average, we have Joe Willock, McNeil, Nico Williams, and who do you say, Connolly? And then retire early, we have Brandon Williams.